ボイスー。ねえキメイマル、私疑問に思ったんだけどさ。今あるやつってアルファ型用だよね？なんで他の型にして作らないの？配列もわかってるんだから少し変えたらすぐできそうじゃん。
それについては実際に FDA で質問されて回答した場面があるので少し見てみますか？
楽しみだな。
Phil Krauss. The question that I have is what we've learned from influenza, where there's variation in the neuraminidase and hemagglutinin antigens on an annual basis. We change the vaccine, and so for a booster strain, shouldn't we try and match the circulating variant as much as we can? That is, right now, predominantly the Delta strain. So why did Pfizer decide to select BNT 162b2? And this is a question for Dr. Bill Gruber, and because a new variant, when and if it emerges, will almost certainly be a progeny of the Delta variant. And don't we want to match the new strains that are most likely to circulate as closely as possible? Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks, Dr. Meisner, for your question. I think as you realize, within the flu field, flu is very different, right? We actually have major antigenic changes which we can show immunologically escape response. If someone can bring up the slide that I showed during the presentation that shows the immune responses across the various variants, we see something very different here, both in terms of the immune response as well as what we have experienced in terms of protection against variant. Okay, there we go. If we can bring up slide 1, please, on the screen. So again,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So this is.
If it's going to. Yeah. So this. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that it shows that across the variants that have been studied today, and we also are, that it's looking promising for you as well. We've not yet seen a variant that escapes a neutralization, and particular circumstances of the beta spike variant, you can see at least have 0.1 of a neutralizing titer of 194. So the lowest of the group, we had a 0 non-split in South Africa in terms of protection against that particular variant. So that doesn't mean perhaps sometime in the future there may be a variant that escapes. Right now, there is not one. We obviously are working behind the scenes as a variant expresses its mind that yes, there seems to be a potential for escape. Then obviously we're very interested in pivoting very quickly to bring that variant on board. But at this point, that does not seem to be necessary. And I think it's encouraging, what we've seen in Israel, in the thing of Delta, which everybody's been concerned appropriately about, is about rapid spread. That efficacy was restored when individuals received a booster, so 95%. We have looked, as I mentioned in the study, at beta as a surrogate, so that we would be able to pivot potentially in the future without having to do additional clinical trials, so we could rapidly react. But for now, there's no evidence of escape for the variants we've looked at. The efficacy data from South Africa suggests even when it's a little bit lower, we're protective, and the information from Israel shows 95% restoration of protection after a booster. So I think the flu story is different.
Yes, but I think there are certain similarities, Bill, in the sense in your trial. I know that 6 subjects of the 312 received a prototypic beta vaccine. But my point still arises. The new variants that are very likely to emerge will most likely come from the Delta strain. And they will have either increased capacity for transmission and hopefully not increased capacity for disease, but it's hard to predict at this stage. And don't you want to introduce a new vaccine that's going to be most similar to the ones that are likely to emerge in the future?
Cody, I'm going to park the answer to that question. We all know what the answer we would like to see, but we've got a question in front of us right now. So please, let's move on.
なんだか納得できない答えだったね。
質問者の方が指摘している通り新型のほとんどはデルタ型から派生してます。ということはデルタ型作ればいいんじゃないのって思いますよね。
95% 効くって言われてもな。
いろいろ納得できないでしょうが以上が公式の質疑応答の部分でした。興味がある方は概要欄のリンクを見てみてください。
また見てね。